Call the Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ralph, would you lead us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have the roll call in, please.
Mr. Leff?
Here.
Mr. Zilli?
Here.
Mr. Ekdahl?
Here.
Mr. Munt?
Here.
Mayor Lynch?
Here.
Dr. Finley?
We have the approval of the minutes from the January 28th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Allen. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Payment of claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims. Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Greg, to approve the claims.
Lynn, did we need to add that invoice or is it on the docket?
It is on the docket.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Any questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Staff reports. AJ.
I don't have too much for today, unless anyone may want an update on any of the specific projects that we've been working on. I guess one that comes to mind, Colin, is I know at the city council meeting, and I'll be prepared to talk about that on Tuesday, but I know we had talked here also about the schedule for City Hall improvements.
Yes.
And so we did have a kickoff meeting with CSK They will, we will, I believe our first kickoff meeting is with the whole group is in a couple weeks. They were wrapping up a couple projects and a couple deadlines that they had within their organization, and it sounds like they've also been dealing with several of their employees with some health issues related to COVID, so they've been open and closed a couple different times, so they were playing a little bit of catch up there at CSK. However, we're going to be on track for an April advertisement of bids, a May opening of the bids, and likely contracting in June. We may need a special meeting in there if we want to expedite that schedule by a few weeks. But if we don't do a special meeting, we'll be looking at probably a July start or that week after the Independence Day weekend for start of the remodel project at City Hall. They're anticipating a 4 to 5 month construction schedule. So, you know, that's looking like substantial completion at mid-November, wrap everything up, and, you know, knocking on wood here, I think there's a strong likelihood that the January meetings will start then taking place at City Hall.
That is great news.
It is good
Thank you
news.
so much.
Yeah, so AJ, are the bids going to be split up? How are we doing that with the city
You know,
funding portions?
That's a good question. I think right now, we were thinking about bidding it to a GC and having him bring the subs under him.
Okay.
Versus kind of go with that project management model. I think as we sit here today, we're likely going to go, like I said, with a GC and then have that person come in and bring in the subs.
Okay. Is the city going to bid it out or the RDC?
That is to be determined.
Okay.
It's a good question. I believe everybody here on the commission knows that the city is contributing to the project as well with some of the proceeds from the general obligation bond. So I think it's just going to come down to a question of, would it make more sense to manage the contract here at the Redevelopment Commission, or would it be better to handle it at the Board of Works? And I think over the course of the next several weeks, we'll make that determination, working with Attorney Witten, better understanding schedule and pay and all that kind of stuff, and come to some sort of decision here probably within the next month or so.
Great.
That's awesome.
And again, if there's any other questions about anything else, sometimes it's hard to keep track of everything we're working on, but
Sorry, go ahead.
With the plaza, or do you want to talk about that?
yeah.
or-
Good question. We also held our kickoff meeting with DLZ on that project, with plans, bidding, award, and then we have a couple of events. Folks are looking at using Founders Square. Both, I understand there may be a Memorial Day function, and I know that there's obviously definitely where everybody's hoping that we can get together for Independence Day. Knowing that those two dates are there, I think let's pile onto ourselves, right? I think very similar to the City Hall project, it's probably going to start the week after Independence Day weekend. And then keeping in mind the St. Peter's event that's scheduled for September 24th. That gives us about 10 and a half weeks, I think, on the schedule, and we think that's doable. At least we know we'll be to substantially complete by September 24th, and I would imagine most of the work would be done by then. So our intention right now, Commission, is to continue working with DLZ, put it out to bid, get it under contract, but to not start work, issue the notice to proceed, really for that full week after the Independence Day weekend.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
No. We are looking for project management help too. We've got a couple projects going on concurrently, and we're about to open another one. So hopefully we can get this one out of the way.
That's good, we're busy.
Yeah, we are busy. And again, if there's anything else that comes up during the meeting, sure. Thank
Well,
you.
you might as well stay there,
Okay.
because we're going to have the bid opening now for the Rabbits Road extension.
Open them neatly.
I stabbed myself.
Hard to believe these are finally opening, we're finally opening bids on Robbins Road extension. It's been 8 years.
It appears we've received 3 bids for the Robbins Road extension project. The first is from Dyer Construction, 1716 Sheffield Avenue, Dyer, Indiana, 46311. Sort of neat, Lynn. Again, this is a bid from Dyer Construction. The amount is $808,999.30. The second bid is from Walsh and Kelly Incorporated, 1700 East Main Street, Griffith, Indiana, 46319. Walsh and Kelly's bid, $749,370.39. The third bid is from Reith Riley Construction Company, Inc., 7500 West 5th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, 46406. Reith Riley's bid is $757,986.75. At this time, staff would recommend that we take the bids under advisement, allow staff and legal the opportunity to review bids, and bring a recommendation back to the commission at the March meeting.
I'll make a motion to take the bids under advisement.
Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Ralph, to take the bids under advisement, report back at the next meeting. Are there any further questions, any answers, any? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. We have the Engineering Design Services 2021.
Yeah, so I would like to thank both Colin and Greg for their participation in the interviews. As you know, we received 3 letters of interest from engineering firms interested in providing engineering and design services to the commission for 2021. Last month, we made the decision that we were going to interview them, and we conducted the interviews a few weeks ago via Zoom meetings. All of the interviews, I think, went well. Again, as we mentioned last month, we had 3 qualified firms interested in working with us. Following the interviews, Colin, Greg, and myself got together to talk about the pros and cons of each, and Greg and Colin have asked me to bring to you a recommendation to hire HWC to provide engineering and design consulting services to the Redevelopment Commission in 2021. And I would like to then defer to Colin or Greg if you would like to report on anything that regarding HWC or anyone else.
No, I just think all three firms are more than well qualified at this time. I just think HWC is a better fit for the commission and the city's needs.
Yeah, I agree with Greg. I think HWC will give us a fresh set of eyes, someone that we haven't really, I don't think we've worked with them in the past before. Give us a fresh set of eyes on all of our projects and what we have going on, and see if there's anything that's been overlooked or things that we've missed in previous years, so. But again, I think all three are qualified, but HWC just seems like a better fit for us where we are as an RDC.
So we need to vote on that, right?
Yes.
Are there, well, let's have a motion first.
I'll make a motion to enter into a contract with HWC.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second by, I'm not sure whether they said it at the same time, Ralph and Colin. So if there's no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for taking your time to interview them and to get back with us. Okay, we have new business. Don't leave, you're still up there. Macaulay Bennett, amendment to listing contract.
Yes, I believe in your packet, you have an addendum to the Macaulay contract. This would be for marketing the space, the vacant space now that we have at 6100 Southport Road. So this is formerly the Purdue section of the property at 6100 Southport. So they would again begin assisting us with identifying future tenant of the space. And I guess the only thing I would ask is regarding the addendum, if you were to act in favor of it today, that it be contingent on Dan getting one look at it to make sure that everything's squared away.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a question. So once you identify someone that may want to lease that portion of the building, does you get a contract and then Dan has to review it and come back for?
Yeah, I think, well, if they identify a future tenant, there will be a conversation between the commission, all of us, you know, and making a decision if that's the direction we'd like to proceed. So right now, they're really just out there marketing it, identifying parties that might be interested in leasing from us.
Okay. So we will need a motion to amend the listing contract that we have with Macaulay Bennett.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, was that you, Alan?
No.
Or Ralph? We have a motion by Ralph, seconded by Colin, to approve the amendment to the listing contract that we have with Macaulay Bennett. Are there any further questions? If not, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Is there any other business to come before this commission?
Quick question, Dan, is there any news on the Catalyst property? I know we paid the back taxes, so.
We did. We redeemed the back taxes. That's good. So as you know, I ordered some latter-day title work. That's what I advised last time. To make sure that because I wasn't the attorney, you know, at the time of the litigation, so when it was commenced, I'd like to make sure, anyway, even if I were, that the title work is good and clean, because we don't want that wrong. Just got that back, so with that, I need to do a comparative study to the title work that was utilized to get the order for foreclosure and the actual title work that we have now. If that looks good, my next exciting trick will be to Pressby for the sale. So I'd expect something should happen within the next week. We'll get something going on that.
Great. Thanks, Dan.
No problem.
So I did forward you an article that came out in the Chicago Tribune today about that, so you're aware of that. I didn't forward it to you because I don't have you in my phone, so I can get it off to you.
I can find it.
You might want it for your records, so seriously. Did you have anything to say about that, AJ? Was there anything that you wanted to add to that?
No,
I mean,
I know Dan's been working on it. Dan is serving as our point of contact there are some folks interested. I really direct them to Dan first, and occasionally Dan will have them come back to me to talk about some additional questions and some of what was reported in the article that you may or may not have read yet. People are asking, what does the city want to see on the property? And so I refer them to our North Side Master Plan, or I refer to our North Side Planned Unit Development Ordinance. I refer them to the zoning ordinance. I talk a little bit about the ongoing work with the RDA and the Transit Development District. So when they come back to me after talking to Dan, I kind of just give them an overview of where the property stands and some of the opportunities that may lie ahead.
Yeah, and as a follow-up on that, Madam Chairman, if I could. So over the last year, we've had a few suitors, ask for meetings, and we've met with them. And it's up to this point, it's been, well, if you have a real proposal that you'd like to have the RDC board take a look at, please get it to us, put it in writing, so we know the terms and what you're suggesting. And to date, no one's come back with a written proposal. So that's kind of where that lies. And pretty soon, unless somebody comes strolling in with near $7 million in hand then we'll have a different conversation, I guess. But then we'll do a lean bid, comes back to us, and then the discussion is exactly what AJ's alluded to. What do we want to do with it?
Go ahead.
One thing I would then add to that, and because I mentioned it as part of this conversation.
Tag teaming here, AJ.
I'm sorry.
When you're done, I'm adding yours.
So if we haven't yet exhausted the conversation about the Catalyst property, I'll stop. But if we have exhausted it, I'd like to bring up something else.
Okay. I think we've exhausted it.
Yeah, I think we're.
We'll probably have more news next month.
As I mentioned in the previous conversation about the Catalyst and the things I mentioned when people ask questions, it relates to the RDA and the discussion revolving around the development of the Transit Development District. As you know, in early February, we held a public meeting. I think we had somewhere between 35 and 40 participants on the Zoom call, listening to the presentation of the RDA's consultants as it relates to the Transit Development District. I don't believe they received any real negative questions or negative comments. Some of the questions, I think, were asking for some additional information about the project, and I believe that the RDA consultants did a really good job, as if the question was more a question that should have been directed to NICD. They did a very good job of directing those questions to them. Again, the conversation went well. We've had a follow-up conversation with them since, and we will. We're continuing to work on that project. So where we stand right now is that the RDA is following the language in the statute for moving forward with the transit development districts. And at this point, the city of Portage has not yet raised any objections to the formation of a transit development district within the limits of the city of Portage. With that understanding, the RDA is intending to move forward. My understanding in the next step of the process is that the RDA board will entertain a resolution establishing a transit development district within the city of Portage, and I believe that they're also going to take on a number of other communities along the corridor. And my understanding is that they're going to have that conversation at the RDA board meeting in April. That doesn't mean it's done. That just means that's the next step of the process that they need to move past. Then it's where the rubber hits the road in the conversation, and it's the memorandum of understanding or the memorandum of agreement between the city of Portage and the RDA in this transit development district. It's going to be the details of the deal. How is this really going to work? Right now, we're floating up here at 5,000 to 10,000 square feet and we're talking about in theory, this, that, but again, this memorandum of understanding or memorandum of agreement will really articulate what that means. Many of the questions that were raised, many of the questions I've asked, many of the questions that Mayor Lynch has asked are going unanswered because we haven't gotten to that point in the process, which is that memorandum of agreement or understanding. So there's a lot of work ahead of us, and I think that we're going to see a lot of work taking place, mid to late March, April, into May and June, as we really work up work on that memorandum that would be between the city and the RDA.
So
Lastly, and if you were unable to attend the Zoom meeting on February 3rd, the panels or the boards that were presented as part of that meeting are on display in my office at City Hall. So if you want to come in and take a look, please stop by and check them out. And there's some questionnaires similar to the questions that were asked during the Zoom meeting, so you can make a written comment if you have those. We're really starting to work to make sure that people know that those panels, those boards are at City Hall, and we're trying to get some input. I mentioned it here to this group, and then I intend to bring it up again to the City Council meeting on Tuesday, and then other ways of getting the word out. We're going to try to do that as well.
So all of this, the transit district, is all separate from double tracking, right? They're not, I mean, they're connected, but the double tracking work is moving forward.
Yes, sir.
Regardless of anything that happens with the district.
double track project, while the RDA has a financial role in the project, that is really being led by NICD.
Okay, got it.
The Transit Development District stuff is that kind of enhanced or kind of, enhanced is a good word, kind of TIF district that is really then going to promote development around the double track investment, and then the various station improvements that they're making both along the double track project and the Westlake corridor.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Is there any other business to come before the commission? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by Colin, seconded by Greg. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.